Welcome back to the channel. Win or lose, this is Timo. We're going to talk about the fight this weekend with Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford. Pretty much a one-sided butt whooping. Earl Spence predicted it, but it was on the other end. He ended up catching the ass whooping. And my thoughts are, it's the aftermath. We're going to talk about what these guys do in the aftermath of the fight. I mean, they are saying there might be a rematch in December. Is that too soon? Both of these guys put it all in this fight. They was calling it the fight of the century, the fight of their careers. So we see they put all their energy and everything into this particular fight. Both guys look like they were weight trained. Both guys look like they struggled to make the weight. It's turning around with a little bit less than 4 months. Early December, I'm hearing the rematch might be. Is that too much of a time to turn around and hurry up and get back into this fight again? I don't know, but we're thinking December. Earl Spence is very adamant that he does want the rematch. He doesn't want no tune-ups. He wants to go back in for the Terrence Crawford fight again. I don't know if that's a good idea. I hope his advisors get in there and kind of, hey, let's take our time. Let's get acclimated at 154. Let's take some tune-up fights. He had been out of, the ring for over a year, coming back and then fighting Terrence Crawford, and that might have something to do with it too. So I'm thinking if I'm Earl Spence, I would, take a tune-up, maybe 2 tune-ups, and then catch Terrence Crawford around this time next year. I think that might be a good idea, but after getting whooped like that, Spence is a warrior. He wants to get back in the ring, and he wants to redeem himself. If at least put on a better effort, because he knows he's way better a fighter than what we seen Saturday night. I don't know what that was. I mean, David Evanesian gave Crawford a better fight than that was. So I know he wants to get back in there against Terrence Crawford. Derrick James was embarrassed. So I know he wants to get in there and prove himself again. He's getting a lot of criticism about doing this, not making no adjustments. He should have stopped it here. So I know how they are, and they competitors, so they want to get back in there as soon as possible and get this rematch going. As far as Terrence Crawford, he can do what he wants at this time. I mean, I wonder, can he, he wants to go up to 54. I know he's going to have to take the rematch with Spence if Spence wants that right away. But he wants Jermell Charlo. We're going to see what Jermell's going to do, because he got a fight coming up at the end of September against Canelo Alvarez. Does he win that? Does he want to go at 168? But he did tell Brian Custer on the pay-per-view that he's not done at 154. So he might want to come back, and I think the only fight that makes sense for him at 154 at this point is against Terrence Crawford. I mean, he's beat the Erickson Lubins, Tony Harrison, Brian Castano. Tim Tszyu might not get that big of a buzz like a Terrence Crawford fight would. So, I mean, what do you want to do at 154 to kind of get you kind of excited? Jermell, hell, it might be some better matches at 168 if you decide to stay there after beat Canelo. You definitely, he might want to get the rematch. So I know that might make more sense. But if you come back to 154, I think that's a fight Terrence Crawford would take. He wants that fight. Do Terrence kind of take, if Earl does decide to take a couple of tuners, does Terrence get himself, acclimated at 154 and take on a Tim Tszyu or somebody at 154 who's been there a couple of years to kind of get himself going? Does he stay at 147 and take on Keith Thurman? The guy, they've been having their back and forth for years. Jerron Ennis might be a young up-and-coming guy who they think might give Bud the best fight in the welterweight division. I agree, too. I think the best competition, if Terrence does stay at 147, will be Jerron Ennis. So he has his options. Keith, like I said, Keith Thurman, the Spence rematch, Tim Tszyu, if Jermell Charlo comes back. But I'm not a big fan of the rematch, not right away. Not right away. I think Spence should go up and get acclimated at 154. Get his confidence back, get everything, make sure his health is right, and then we'll do it. And I think that's going to be hard to sell to the public. I mean, especially to the casual fans. Us fans who love boxing, we're going to get it regardless. We're going to buy the fight. We're going to support these brothers like we did Saturday. We're going to get the fight. But to the casual fan who just, it's a big fight, let me turn on the TV. That's going to be a hard sell coming off the way Crawford dominated that fight. It's going to be hard to get the casual fans back in there to kind of buy this pay-per-view, to go to the event like they did the last time. But we've seen it before. I mean, boxing kind of finds some way to kind of, get these pay-per-view going, try to get us excited, fighters talking, and we all might, end up buying it like we did the first one. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Either way, I think that Terrence Crawford proved himself as the best pound for pound in the world. I mean, he made it look easy. I'm not making no excuses for Spence, but he didn't look right from the beginning. Crawford did what he had to do. That's not his problem. They've been going at it back and forth for almost 5 years, and the best man won that night. We'll see where it goes from here. I like them both to go up to 154, but kind of take on other guys and then hopefully make the fight a little bit bigger after Spence got his confidence back and got a couple of wins under his belt. Make it bigger around this time next year. I think going back into the rematch, that's going to be a hard sell to the fans. Tell me what you guys think. Like, subscribe, comment to the channel. Thanks. We're going to talk a little bit more boxing. I'm going to get into everything as far as basketball and football season coming up. We're going to get into that. It's win or lose with Timo. Thank you.